The updated spirit guide, RGB number 8. Sam Hain. Brief summary. Sam Hain is the infamous ghost of Halloween, able to strike fear into both the living and the dead. With his strategic mind and lunar manipulation powers, he intends to bring about eternal night. Primary canon. In the Real Ghostbusters episode, when Halloween was forever, New York City is under threat as a powerful ancient being, known as Sam Hain, is unleashed on Halloween night. This formidable foe is the undead embodiment of Halloween itself, feared as an invincible force of the night. With a legion of ghosts at his command, Sam Hain is determined to make Halloween last forever. But the Ghostbusters are not ones to back down from a challenge. Armed with their expert skills and unwavering teamwork, they must confront the powerful spirit and his legions of the undead before he can plunge the world into eternal darkness. Additional canon. The Real Ghostbusters, Now. In issue 17 of the Now comic series, Sam Hain takes center stage as the main antagonist. After months of imprisonment, the powerful spirit finally found a way to break free from his prison and wreak havoc on New York City. His constant chanting allowed him to create a portal and escape the containment unit. He takes Janine, Slimer, and Lewis hostage and calls upon an ancient druid god for assistance. But when the Ghostbusters teamed up with a wizard named Phineas Eventide, they were successfully able to recapture him. Additional canon. Ghostbusters, Spirits Unleashed, Ecto Edition. Following the events of Ghostbusters Afterlife, Ghostbuster founders Ray and Winston re-established the Ghostbusters, with the latter acquiring and reopening the organization's old headquarters in the New York firehouse, Hook and Ladder 8. In the Ecto Edition DLC, Ray, Winston, and the new Ghostbusters face off against Sam Hain while preparing for the Spengler family's upcoming visit to New York City. Powers. Sam Hain is a formidable Class 6 entity, known for his incredible powers and abilities. He possesses the unique power to manipulate the moon, able to halt it at will and control its flow. This gives him the power to create endless night, engulfing the world in darkness and unleashing chaos and fear upon his enemies. He also has the ambient ability to create a form of tangible darkness that can envelop vast expanses of the sky, and with enough time and strength, could potentially cloak the entire Earth. Sam Hain commands a legion of spirits, and has the power to control multiple ghosts at once, summoning them to do his bidding, and adding to his already intimidating ghost army. He can also produce dark lightning, a supernatural power that strikes fear into the hearts of all who witness it. And like all Class 6 entities, he can fly, become intangible, and bring inanimate objects to life. This makes him a force to be reckoned with, as few can match his paranormal powers. There is also one night where Sam Hain's abilities are amplified even further, Halloween. On this night, he becomes even stronger, tapping into the heightened energy and atmosphere that surrounds the festival. With this increased power, he can create portals by chanting, allowing him to travel between worlds and dimensions with ease. Despite his incredible strength, Sam Hain does have weaknesses. His greatest vulnerability is to light, which can weaken and even harm him. Additionally, being imprisoned greatly diminishes his powers and limits his abilities. But even with these weaknesses, Sam Hain remains a formidable and feared entity, with a thirst for power and control that knows no bounds. Personality. Sam Hain donned a brown cloak with a broad collar. He was orange and had a pumpkin for a head. He exuded a sense of authority, as he was a creature that took direct action and was solely driven by his mission. Sam Hain believed that ghosts were unfairly treated in the world, largely due to humans like the Ghostbusters. His goal was to create a world where ghosts, like himself, reigned supreme and humans were the subordinate beings. He planned to accomplish this by bringing eternal night. Unlike most villains faced by the Ghostbusters, Sam Hain had a soft spot for the ghosts under his command, referring to them as his little ones. He was willing to engage in battle to protect them from harm, but could also exert force if they did not comply with his wishes. For instance, he threatened to dissolve Slimer when the latter refused to attack humans, and even took him hostage when he noticed Slimer's close relationship with the Ghostbusters. These interactions revealed a darker and more tyrannical side to Sam Hain's personality, as he showed disdain for spirits that disobey his orders and attempt to coexist peacefully alongside humans. This may have stemmed from his hatred of the Ghostbusters, as he tried to convince Slimer that it was futile to ally with humans and that his true home was among his legion. When persuasion failed, Sam Hain was not above trying to destroy Slimer, although he did seem remorseful about having to do so. Sam Hain's name comes from an old term, Samhain. Samhain is a term used around Halloween in the Gaelic languages. The Scottish Gaelic interpretation of the word is pronounced the same but spelled differently. The festival of Samhain is a celebration of the end of the harvest season. A modernized version of this festival continues today in some traditions, such as All Souls' Day, secular Halloween, and in the folk practices of Samhain itself in the Celtic nations. Samhain is also observed by various types of neo-pagans. Trivia. On page 10 of Ghostbusters, Volume 1, Issue 3, Sam Hain makes a non-canon cameo on a poster. On page 23 of Ghostbusters, Volume 1, Issue 5, Sam Hain is referred to in a Peacock file. Sam Hain makes a non-canon cameo on a special sketch cover of Ghostbusters, Volume 1, Issue 9. Sam Hain makes a non-canon cameo on the subscription cover of Ghostbusters, Volume 2, Issue 13. Sam Hain makes a non-canon cameo on the convention cover of Ghostbusters, Get Real, Issue Number 1. Sam Hain appears on the IDW convention variant cover of 35th Anniversary, The Real Ghostbusters. An enemy based on Sam Hain appears in the NES video game, New Ghostbusters 2. It appears in a stage resembling a hotel, and has a green head instead of an orange one. Sam Hain can also be seen in the Real Ghostbusters Christmas episode, Xmas Marks the Spot. Episode Summary. As the episode opened, a news van pulled up outside a hotel next to the iconic Ecto-1, and a news crew hopped out, eager to capture the unfolding events. The journalist reported that it was just hours before Halloween officially began, and the Ghostbusters were busy on the job. Inside the hotel, Winston crept up behind a horrid yellow ghost with horns. He quickly fired his proton stream and skillfully caught the spirit in his trap. Just then, Peter came around the corner brandishing a chair. He asked Winston, "What's small, hairy, and green all over?" It was a rhetorical question. He was being followed by a small, furry, frog-like creature with sharp fangs and talons, and needed some assistance. A few moments later, the Ghostbusters emerged from the hotel looking disheveled but victorious, each one carrying a smoking ghost trap. The journalist tried to get an interview from Peter, asking if he had said that this job was going to be a piece of cake before entering the hotel. Peter responded nonchalantly with, "I never said that, and even if I did say that, I never said that," before climbing into Ecto-1. Ray waved at the camera before the team left the scene. Back at the firehouse, the Ghostbusters were watching the news report. Winston said he didn't like it. Peter said he didn't like it either. He looked terrible on TV. That's not what Winston meant though. As it was getting closer to Halloween, the supernatural energy in the city was rising, making hauntings more common and more dangerous than usual. Ray asked Egon for his expert opinion on the matter, but Egon was in the corner engrossed in his work, cross-referencing his notes with a large map of New York City. Peter went over to Egon to see what he was working on, but Egon wasn't ready to share his hypothesis just yet. Peter told Egon that if he didn't spill the beans, he would tell Slimer that Egon had a cupcake in his sock. Obviously, this was ludicrous, but Slimer wouldn't know that. Egon gave in, and went on to explain that the psychokinetic energy readings in the city had been increasing as it neared Halloween, and took a huge jump when some ancient Irish relics arrived in the city a few weeks earlier. Ray noted that their origins could be traced back to 7th century Ireland, which coincided with the start of Samhain, or Halloween. Winston expressed surprise, admitting that he was not aware of the festival's ancient roots. Egon theorized that the relics, and perhaps even Halloween itself, might be the cause of the heightened paranormal activity. In response, Winston suggested that the team thoroughly examine the ancient relics as soon as possible. As the night deepened, two mischievous goblins snuck into New York's Natural History Museum and began searching for the ancient artifacts themselves. Once they found the relics, the goblins drew a mystical symbol on the ancient stone, activating the supernatural energy within. Suddenly, a ghostly door opened, and Sam Hain, the forgotten ghost of Halloween, emerged from the doorway, finally set free after centuries of imprisonment. As soon as the spirit was released, he wasted no time in unleashing a supernatural frenzy, bringing inanimate objects to life as he soared through the city, creating minions for his new army of the night. Back at the firehouse, Egon and Ray were working on their latest invention. Peter was napping, while Winston attempted to teach Slimer how to play checkers. Janine was busy downstairs, answering the door to the excited trick-or-treaters. With a warm smile, she handed out compliments and Ghostbuster candies to each of the young visitors. While the Ghostbusters were busy upstairs, Janine heard another knock at the door. Upon opening it, she was greeted by a pair of trick-or-treaters dressed as frighteningly realistic goblins. Little did Janine know, this was the same pair of troublemakers that had freed Sam Hain earlier in the evening. As Janine loaded their bags with candy, they each took a deep breath and blew Janine across the fire station. Janine urgently called for the Ghostbusters' help as the goblins fled, and she landed awkwardly on the other side of the firehouse on top of a desk. As soon as the team heard Janine's calls, they sprang into action and swiftly made their way out of the fire station doors, determined to catch the mischievous goblins. Janine shouted they went that way, as the Ghostbusters wasted no time in pursuing the culprits. Egon swiftly took out his PKE meter and immediately began taking readings, while the Ghostbusters dashed in the direction Janine had pointed out. Egon told the team that it didn't look good. The PKE meter was going off the scale, and it appeared as though a citywide manifestation had overcome New York. As the Ghostbusters reached the edge of Central Park, they paused to catch their breath. Peter couldn't help comment how much he enjoyed seeing the Christmas lights adorning the trees. His festive mood quickly turned to dread as he realized that it wasn't Christmas and the twinkling lights were actually the glowing eyes of Sam Hain's sinister minions, ready to pounce. Atop the nearby Empire State Building, Sam Hain was reciting a sinister incantation that would summon any nearby spirits. Back at the firehouse, Slimer could feel the incantation drawing him towards the Empire State Building. He tried to resist, but was dragged by an unseen force into the river of spirits. Slimer was swept through the bustling city alongside the other ghosts, only to be unceremoniously dropped on top of the Empire State Building with a resounding splat. When he opened his eyes and looked around, Slimer saw he was now among Sam Hain's legion, and the infamous ghost of Halloween was about to make a speech. The creature told his legion that they had much to do to make sure that Halloween would last forever, but using his powers, he would ensure that this night would never end. Slimer's shock and fear were evident as he hastily began retreating, ready to take flight. But his plans were abruptly interrupted when he collided with a menacing red demon. Sam Hain quickly caught sight of Slimer attempting to flee, and promptly ordered the red demon to bring the traitor to the front. Sam Hain recoiled in disgust. He announced that Slimer was surrounded by the sickening stench of humans. He was disgusted by the scent of mortals, and made it clear to Slimer that he would either join his army of the dead or face severe consequences. Down below, the streets were in chaos as Sam Hain's legion wreaked havoc throughout New York City, terrorizing anyone in their path. The Ghostbusters had just finished trapping another ghost when Egon realized his watch had severely slowed. He checked with Peter, whose watch had also mysteriously slowed down. The team could hear a frantic news report and gathered around a shop window to listen more closely. According to the journalist, a dark cloud was quickly expanding from America and making its way across the world, already engulfing Europe and Asia. As the team stood on the sidewalk, they struggled to comprehend the chaos unfolding before them. Suddenly, a colossal purple demon came barreling around the corner in a bright yellow beetle, driving at breakneck speed. Ray yelled out for someone to stop the car, as the team quickly unleashed their proton streams, forcing the creature to leap out of the vehicle and attempt to make its getaway on foot. The Ghostbusters managed to wrangle the ghost in a capture stream. However, their victory was cut short when a brick wall plummeted from above, obstructing the streams and allowing the creature to get away. The demon managed to escape and the Ghostbusters were left standing alone in the deserted streets. Peter remarked on the eerie silence that had befallen the street as he held on tightly to his proton thrower. As the team stood on the corner, a chilling voice echoed from the darkness above. It was Sam Hain, and he demanded to know why the Ghostbusters were targeting his little ones. Without a moment's hesitation, the team unleashed their streams, but the creature proved too swift as he darted to a different rooftop. He questioned the Ghostbusters again as to why they were targeting his little ones. With a hint of sarcasm in his voice, Peter told Sam Hain that the team had been busting ghosts for hours and could carry on all night if they had to. The creature was not impressed and fired a bolt of black lightning out of the darkness, causing Peter to hastily dodge out of its path. Egon quickly helped Peter back onto his feet as Sam Hain introduced himself to the Ghostbusters, his voice echoing from the shadows. The creature announced that all things of the night were under his control on this night more than any other, as he was the embodiment of Samhain. He was Halloween incarnate. Ray recounted how Halloween had started as the feast of Sam Hain. Sam Hain was supposedly an unstoppable creature of the night that mysteriously vanished centuries ago. The creature told Ray it was good to know he was still remembered after being trapped in stone for so many centuries. He told the Ghostbusters that he had brought a wonderful present for the world, the gift of eternal night and never-ending Halloween. Peter reminded the creature that it wasn't Christmas yet and suggested that he could return the gift to wherever he had gotten it from for store credit. With a menacing glint in his eye, Sam Hain told the Ghostbusters that he would not be going anywhere, and in a flash, he unleashed a powerful blast of dark lightning, sending the team scrambling. Egon had reached his breaking point and was determined to get a clear view of the mysterious creature. He quickly grabbed his torch and aimed its beam towards Sam Hain. The ghost hissed and recoiled from the bright light, boldly proclaiming to the Ghostbusters that he could not be defeated by mere mortals. And with a wicked laugh, he flew off into the night, heading back towards the iconic Empire State Building. In that moment, Egon realized that the ghost was hurt by the light from his torch. This gave Egon the idea to illuminate the whole city. As Egon explained his plan to the other Ghostbusters, the streetlights above the team went out. The entire city was experiencing a suspicious power failure. Egon told the team he had a new plan, but they needed to cause a distraction. Winston asked what they should do, to which Egon proposed a full frontal assault. Egon then turned and ran off down the street. Peter called after him, "I don't know about this. Do you think giving us the easy job is fair?" As the chaos unfolded, Sam Hain watched from atop the nearby Empire State Building, determined to convince Slimer to join his legion. But Slimer remained determined and was not going to change his mind. The other ghosts in the Legion had reached boiling point and seized Slimer, tugging at him from every direction. Sam Hain commanded his Legion to cease their attacks on Slimer. He told the ghosts that Slimer could prove useful and that he had a plan. Winston, Peter, and Ray valiantly fought their way up the Empire State Building while Egon set his plan in motion. Egon skillfully tricked a pair of ghosts into hauling a set of hefty spotlights and expertly positioned the lights at the foot of the Empire State Building. As he began connecting the lights to his proton pack's power system, he eagerly flicked the switch, expecting them to illuminate. But to his disappointment, they remained dark. Frustrated, he muttered to himself, "Sometimes I think the universe just waits for me to get cocky." Meanwhile, as Peter, Ray, and Winston finally reached the top of the building, their hearts pounded with anticipation as they came face to face with Sam Hain and his Legion. The creature instructed his minions to hold off their attack as he would handle the Ghostbusters himself. Sam Hain commanded the Ghostbusters to surrender their weapons and put an end to their ghost-catching endeavors. If they refused, he would permanently dissolve Slimer. This angered the Ghostbusters, causing them to swiftly aim their proton throwers. With focused determination, Peter warned the creature to let Slimer go and surrender to the team. Sam Hain laughed and began slowly dissolving Slimer. Ray called out in desperation, telling Slimer to fight it, reminding him he was a Ghostbuster. As Slimer remembered his time with the Ghostbusters, he couldn't help but feel grateful for the humans who had shown him such kindness. Not only did they befriend and care for him, but they also treated him to mouth-watering pizza. The memory of the delicious pizza empowered Slimer, enabling him to break free from Sam Hain's grasp. And just as he did, Egon hastily finished reconnecting the spotlights and directed their powerful beams towards the roof of the Empire State Building. The dazzling lights left Sam Hain stunned, causing his legion to scatter in fear. In the midst of the chaos, the skilled Ghostbusters swiftly took action and engaged in a brief battle. In the end, they successfully apprehended the bewildered Sam Hain along with several members of his legion. The hum of the city's power returning filled the air as the team stood atop the majestic Empire State Building. They gazed out at the bustling streets below, admiring the breathtaking view of the city. Winston, with a sense of pride in his voice, exclaimed that it's times like these that make him really love his job. The Ghostbusters returned to the firehouse, and Winston proceeded to empty his trap while his comrades anxiously observed through the viewer. Despite being imprisoned in the containment unit, Sam Hain appeared remarkably calm and composed, showing no signs of anger or irritation. Egon speculated that Sam Hain, after enduring centuries of imprisonment, would patiently bide his time for the day when he could once again roam free. Suddenly, the basement lights flickered and then went out, leaving the team in darkness. As the team's eyes adjusted, a glowing pumpkin appeared before them. The Ghostbusters were well aware of Slimer's mischievous tendencies and immediately knew it was Slimer and Janine attempting to pull a prank. Janine laughed as she reached over to switch the lights back on, and the whole team laughed together. And so, the city was once again safe, at least for now. Thank you so much for your time today. We appreciate every one of you. Please like and subscribe, and get notified whenever we upload new content. And once again, thank you all. Till next time.